article marketing. In this video, we're going to be talking about the body of your article and how to structure your article for maximum effect. Now, the whole point about article marketing is with the title to get people to read your article, and with the body of the article is to get people to read down to the bottom of the article and inside your bio box so that you can get the reader to click on the link to your site. How do you do this? Well, here are a few points to consider that may help you accomplish this more times than not. The article must be relevant to your target market. So if say your target market is people that want to learn how to train dogs, well, writing an article on training a cat probably is not going to cut the mustard. So again, you want to keep the article relevant to the people that are interested in what you have to offer. And of course, the article must be interesting. If you're going to bore people to sleep, chances are they're not going to get much further than the first few sentences of your article, let alone down to the bottom, so that they will then click on your links to your site. So again, keep it interesting. Short paragraphs, that's a big thing. You don't want to let people think they have to work their way through your article just to get to the end of the article and then again click on your link to your website. And remember this, and I apologize wholeheartedly to all of my old English teachers, but even if it is not grammatically correct to split the paragraphs where you do it anyway. Make sure you've got shorter paragraphs. It just makes the words flow a little bit more. It makes the article flow from the beginning to the end a little bit better. Subheadings and paragraph headers, that's a big point. If you can put in headers or highlight the paragraphs in a manner that allows the eye to flow from top to bottom a little more easily, then by all means do so. And I'll go over some examples here in just a second. Bullet points or lists. I mean, that's always a big thing. I mean, that's why David Letterman's pretty popular, for me anyway. It's because of his top 10 list. So another thing too that I want to point out in this area of lists or bullet points is if maybe instead of bullet points, if you have numbers. Number lists may even prompt the reader to read to the end of the numbers. So for example, if they see the title, for example, is the top 10 reasons for this or that, and they may be more prompted to read not just the number 1, but all the way down to number 10, which just so happens to be real close to your bio box because it's at the end of the article. Of course, then the idea is for them to click on the link to your website at that point. So a number list might be a little more effective than a bullet list or bullet points, but still either or is something you want to try to incorporate into all of your articles. And another thing too that might help the eye flow from the beginning of the article down to the end of the article is bold the beginning of each paragraph. For example, like the subheadings or the paragraph headers, put those in bold print. Again, they make them stand out. It makes the paragraph just before it seem a little bit shorter. And the ideal word count, you want to keep that somewhere between 300 and 600 words. Some are less, some are more, but this is kind of an ideal range to work with. I mean, remember, you're not writing a novel here, and you're not writing a paragraph. And have a beginning of the article that pops or stands out. One that's punchy and begins with a bang, if you will. I mean, if you've got them bored to tears at the very beginning, chances are they're not going to get much further than that first sentence. So open with a bang, and write as if you were talking one-on-one, or first person, if you will, with your friend. This way, you will not come across as stuffy and pretentious. Don't make them too formal. You're not writing for the Wall Street Journal. And anchor text when possible. Use that instead of, say, just a full URL whenever you are putting in a clickable link to some other website or some other page, for example, such as the bio box. That's a good point. If it's possible to incorporate some kind of a anchor text there instead of just the full visible URL to your website, that would be better, in my humble opinion, that is. Of course, it being my video, well, that's what I'm going to say. Anchor text is also better insofar as the search engines are concerned. So let's go ahead and take a look at some of these examples that I was referring to. Now, I've referred to this article on several occasions in prior videos for good reason. It's a pretty good article. It's got short paragraphs. It's got some bold. It makes the eye flow from the top to the bottom. And, of course, here, if it would be possible, I would have tossed in a clickable link here. But then again, too, it's not a actual link. It's more of an example. So, okay. It's got your bullet points. I would have maybe even tossed in some numbers here too. Again, to help the eyes flow from the top to the bottom. 1, 2, 3, 4, so on and so forth. And what else we got here? Anchor text. Well, this one's got a bunch of good examples in here for me. The beginning of the article may not just pop right out in front of me here, but it's not going to put me to sleep either. Here's an example that I was referring to as far as the list, or the David Letterman aspect, the top 10 reasons. Here you see, starting with 1, obviously. So it prompts my eyes to want to go all the way down and read each and every one of these until we get to number 10. And just lo and behold, right below number 10 is the information for the author of this article. So that we can click on over, if you can see down here in the status bar, you can click on over to their website. So again, the numbered list versus the bullet points, either one is good, and you ought to have at least one of the two. But if you have the possibility of putting a numbered list in instead of a bullet list, then by all means use the numbered list, because again, it will draw the eyes closer to the bottom, and that's the purpose behind the body of your article, is to get people down to your bio box. Here's kind of a reverse example as far as making the beginning of your article pop and stand out. For example, there are many questions that plague those who want to become successful in internet marketing. In fact, while internet marketing is touted as one of the fastest and easiest ways to earn a good living online, it is really not easy at all. Okay, so granted, the statement may be true, but there's probably other more motivating, more enticing ways to word this to get me to read the rest of this, rather than just thinking, okay, well, my dreams of becoming an internet marketer were just blown out the window because it's not as easy as they have been telling me. For example, you may want to say, if you want to become an internet marketer, then it's time to roll up the sleeves and get our hands dirty. So let's get right to it. Of course, it's a little bit shorter. Another point to consider in writing your article. And it's inferring that it's not going to be easy, but I'm not coming right out and saying, hey, it's time to, work your butt off to become an internet marketer, otherwise you're going to fail miserably. So again, make your articles pop at the beginning. That's a good point to get people to want to read the next paragraph. Now, something else that I did not put in that list was, I wanted to, and I had mentioned this in a prior video, but read your competitors' articles, other marketers that are in the same field or same niche that you are. Read their articles and see what turns you on and see which ones turn you off. Use this information to make your articles more noticeable and more interesting than theirs. Remember their structure and the content, and try to duplicate the points you liked in your own articles. And of course, by all means, do not duplicate the points you didn't like. Remember, the point you want to achieve here is to get the reader to the end of the article and get them to click through to your website. This brings us to the end of this video on the body of your article and how to structure it for maximum effect. Thanks for watching, and have a great day.